to my channel. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. I'm happy that you're here and giving me a chance. What is Asperger's? We're going to go over that today. If you're like me, you made it till your 30s before you found out what Asperger's was. And you had no idea it was on the spectrum because almost everyone with Asperger's is high functioning. So, well, mostly, I don't know about all that. I shouldn't have said that. I'm so sorry. So, my son and most of the people I've experienced with Asperger's are high functioning. There may be a low functioning Asperger's. I don't know. I'm no psychiatrist. And I'm still struggling with it myself, not knowing if I was misdiagnosed. But if you're like me, you had no idea what Asperger's was. You'd heard it, here or there, and you knew kind of about it, but not exactly what it was. So that's what I'm going to explain to you today. And basically, number one is that no two cases are exactly the same. You could have a few of these symptoms and still have Asperger's, and you can have every one of these symptoms and have Asperger's. Sorry about the lighting here. That just made it worse. Seems like it keeps making it darker. Oh well. I'm going to go over the symptoms for adult Asperger's, and let's see if I can get this light. That don't go there. I'm so sorry. This was not part of the plan. Just in case you think that your loved one might have Asperger's or that you just want some information on it. I'm so sorry about this lighting. But basically, common signs and symptoms of Asperger's. There's many, okay? And your child might, like I said, have a few or a lot. So the social symptoms behind Asperger's is a telltale sign of Asperger syndrome is having difficulty in social situations. Common symptoms of Asperger's that may impact social interaction or communication are problems making and maintaining friendships, isolation or minimal interaction in social situations. And another reason why I think I may have it is because I like to be by myself all the time. And I'd rather be at home watching true crime because that's my obsession. I obsess over true crime and true crime shows and investigating actual true crime that's happening around the world. I get obsessed over it, and I join groups on it, and we all try to solve the case. We're all armchair detectives. So that's one of the things that I've noticed in myself. Another reason I think that I might have Asperger's is I have a problem maintaining friends, is because with my friends, I always want to do what I want to do. I'm never willing to try to do what they want to do, and I always want to talk about myself, and I am, not picking up on the cues whenever people want me to shut up, like maybe right now, but I don't pick up on the cues. I can't take subtle hints, and so that's another reason. Poor eye contact or tendency to stare at others. I didn't make eye contact with men for a long time in my life. I just couldn't do it. And now I'm noticing that I haven't really made eye contact with a lot of people. And when I was little, I used to get caught staring at people. We'd go to Walmart and I would be staring at someone at the corner of the aisle, and my parents would lose me in Walmart because I was not walk with them when they walked away. I was too busy staring at people in situations. So that's another one that I've noticed about myself. Trouble interpreting gestures. Like if somebody's they want me to shut up, I cannot interpret that. I just think that, they're empathizing with me about the story that I'm telling, and, they're annoyed with the person that I'm annoyed with in the story. Never in a million years would I think that they are making that gesture towards me, wishing that I would stop talking. Um, Inability to recognize humor, irony, and sarcasm. I have taken and gotten my feelings hurt so many times in my life because somebody was just kidding with me and I thought they were being serious, so I can't pick up on sarcasm. I have learned over the years how to react to certain things because I've seen how other people react to it, so I know, again, fake it till I make it. And then another one is inappropriate behaviors or odd mannerisms. So I have been labeled Captain Too Far because sometimes I just let stuff come out of my mouth that shouldn't have, that I should have had a filter. And so I completely get that one. Problems expressing empathy. Controlling emotions or communicating feelings. I don't know how to communicate my feelings without being very upset or confrontational or mean and rude. So that's another problem that I'm having. Controlling my emotions. When I'm frustrated and mad, there's just no way to calm down, and I'm having to learn coping skills and calming down methods just like my 7-year-old. So that's a telltale sign. Lack of common sense. When I was younger, I would go home with people that I just met, to continue the party or whatever. And my girls, I would try to talk them into coming, and either they'd come with me or I'd go by myself. And something terrible could have happened to me. But it was all about, let's keep drinking. And by the grace of God, nothing did happen to me. Thank goodness. But no common sense whatsoever. That was ridiculous. And another time I had no common sense is we were on the parkway. And if you've ever rode on a parkway, there's only 2 lanes. There's this lane and this lane. There's no turning lane. And off each side is straight mountain or rock. Okay, so we're riding in the back of a pickup truck, and I decide to look at these new rims that my friend had got because they had these spokes, and when the rims spin, it wasn't spinners, it was before then, they were like spokes. But anyway, when the wheel turned, it made this really cool look before spinners came around. This is showing my age. But I decided to lean over the truck to look down at the wheel, and sister came up just in time as a car that's going this way, we're driving this way, zooms past my face. So my body came up just in time, and there was just no common sense. I didn't think about that, and everyone else did. They said as soon as I went over, they were like, what is she doing? So insane, no common sense. Another sign is tendency to engage in one-sided conversation about oneself. Lord knows if you're one of my friends, you know I can talk all day long about myself, but I need to become more of a listener. We receive 2 ears and 1 mouth because we're supposed to listen twice as much as we speak. So another sign that and not all of these are signs that you have Aspergers. It's just when they all come together and something doesn't feel right and something finally makes sense, then you know that you have Aspergers. But you also have to be tested and get told by a psychiatrist. So it will just make sense if you do have it. Then also fascination with certain topics. My fascination is true crime of any kind of investigative reporting, any kind of murder history, just all of that. I'm infatuated with that kind of stuff. And my son is video games. His is video games. And to try to get us to get more interest, we are afraid that we will take away from that big interest that we have. We're almost obsessive over 1 or 2 interests. An Aspie is. Interpretation of information as literal. Everything is logical. If you say she got caught red-handed, we think that her hands are red. If you say like my son, if you say Olive Garden, he thinks it's a garden with olives in it. So everything that you say to us is literal. Like if you say, man, she's dying to get over there, we think that she literally is dying to get over there. Now, me, on the other hand, I've had 41 years of this, so I have picked up on all these little metaphors and sarcasm. And so unless it's something new and hip, like flossing, whenever my daughter was younger, she's 18 now, but when she was younger, she would say, Mom, me and my girlfriend, which was her friend, we're going to be flossing at school tomorrow. Look what we're going to wear. And I always thought they were literally talking about flossing, and that, they were saying two things in one sentence, that they're going to floss and then they're going to wear this outfit. So I just take everything so literal, and that was just hilarious to them. They just were in stitches about that. So another one is the preference for a strict schedule or a routine. I do so much better when I keep my little itinerary and I stick to my schedule and I write things down. I can stay on top of it and get things done. But I don't like surprises. I hate when people just show up at my house. I don't like when I have to do something out of nowhere. Somebody calls me and tries to get me to, put a break in my schedule and come do this. I will help them, but it just gives me anxiety to change up my day when it's already pre-planned or scheduled. So like, I plan to make a plan. I schedule to make a schedule. So it's pretty bad, but it just helps me to have a free-flowing week, and things go by so much easier when I know what I'm going to do before I do it, and there's no surprises. So if any of this is sounding like you, then I highly recommend you go get tested with a psychiatrist or get a referral from your family doctor to get tested. It's just a written test. It's not like a blood test. It's just a written test that you must answer truthful. Okay? Answer every single question truthful, because you would hate to get a misdiagnosis. All right. So now the language and speech issues. A scripted, formal, or robotic type of speaking. And I had that when I was younger, but I also took acting and drama and all that. So I learned how to carry my voice and use my voice and to be excited and loud. So, lack of inflection when talking. And of course we might not have all of them. I definitely have an inflection when I'm talking. Repetitive speech. Yes, I have that issue too. If someone is not listening to me, I will repeat myself over and over and over until they do. And then I also am really bad about telling the same story twice. You guys will probably hear this on my channel and be like, girl, you already told me that. So, trouble using language in social context. So we just can't get our feelings across. We can get angry and mad at you, but we can't really express socially how we're feeling. Loud or a high-pitched speech, and I got the loud part down. I'm sure it always sounds like I'm yelling at you guys, and I'm so sorry for that. And then the cognitive behaviors that you will see in an Aspie. A superior rote memory, and I have a photographic memory. It is like, wow. Ability to understand technical or factual information, and I am so good at problem solving and processing, and so is my son. Trouble absorbing abstract information. I've never been able to see anything in art, and it just looks like a blob. If it looks like a blob, it is a blob. If it's just a big circle and a triangle, I don't see anything but a circle and a triangle. So abstract art just goes right over my head. And then tendency to focus on details, which may result in missing the bigger picture. So I really want to get everything perfect. If I'm trying to clean this room in here, I'm going to go above and beyond. I'm going to start organizing the closet, organizing the desk, cleaning out the drawers. And so I just pay attention to way too many details. It takes me 10 times longer to do it. So, another thing is, great, I really can't stand when my yard guy comes without calling. Like, it's so rude to show up at someone's house without calling, especially since I have a 6-month-old granddaughter that could be sleeping. Like, at least text. You live in the same neighborhood as me. You can at least text before you come. And he has a really, really, really bad problem with just showing up at my house. So if anything ever happens to me, it was my yard guy. Tell him it was my yard guy. See? More of that true crime. Always thinking true crime. But anyway, and I also have ADHD. You guys, please don't think that I'm on any kind of drugs or anything. I'm just super hyperactive and I don't medicate myself for it. I actually use it to my advantage. Okay, so then, oh, and also about focusing on details. I could be in a job interview, and if you have something on your tooth, I'm going to not be able to hear anything you're saying because I'm staring right at that little piece of food on your tooth, or something on your face, or an eye booger. It just very, very observant to details, and I just can't, like, look away. I almost get obsessed. It's crazy. And then the physical symptoms or delay in motor skills. I am not athletic in any way. I'm horrible about catching a ball. I'm clumsy. I fall down. I drop things. I mean, I am just not coordinated. And then awkward movements. You see me doing this right now. I'm always doing this and talking with my hands and blah, 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 blah. So, that's another one. Problems with coordination, sensitivity to loud noises, and obviously the weed eater's driving me nuts right now. I don't want to hear that right now, so I had to complain for 2 minutes to you guys about it, but he's just doing his job. So, I need to chill, but it's going by the window right now. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's like, ugh. And a sensitivity to odors. Like, I can smell things from a mile away, and it's just like, oh, it almost makes me gag to smell stuff. But a lot of people are like that. They have a weak stomach. And sensitivity to clothing. If my jeans are too tight, I have to change. If they're rubbing me the wrong way. Even the backside of the buttons on a pair of jeans, the button-on jeans, irritates my skin. I can't have tags. It's really bad. And sensitivity to food or textures. No mushrooms for me, no onions for me, no green peppers. It's a texture thing. I cannot stand the texture. Oh, I can't even handle hummus because of the texture. I can't handle kiwis because of the little seeds in there. So there's a lot of food. The food will be a whole nother video in itself. So we can talk about that. Because most Aspies are very, very particular about their food. All right. And then, does Aspergers cause violent behavior? Many parents wonder if Asperger's syndrome is associated with violent behavior. The answer doesn't seem to be clear-cut. So we don't know yet. Enough research has not been done. But while Asperger's may provoke some aggressive behavior, most research shows no specific association between violent crime and autism alone. Some studies have suggested that other accompanying psychiatric disorders may explain violent behaviors in people with autism. So they continue to study to provide more insight. And then common diagnosis that goes with Asperger's is usually depression, anxiety, ADHD. Some people have Tourette's with it. And some of the amazing things that come along with Asperger's is a high IQ and the ability to focus on something intensely, and a remarkable rote memory, and a unique sense of humor, and a high esteem for fairness and honesty. And that is so every Aspie I've ever met. They just have the biggest hearts, and they're so brutally honest, and they're not trying to be mean. That's just the way they operate. They can't lie. It's so amazing. So if you know an Aspie, or you think you might be an Aspie, or you have a loved one that's an Aspie, just give them a hug and let them know that you appreciate their honesty and their fairness, and that you never have to worry about them when it comes to that kind of stuff. We might be poor sports when we lose, but we're definitely honest and fair. So thank you for taking the time to listen to those symptoms, and drop a comment below if you have any questions, and I'd be more than happy to ask. This is a journey that I started 1.5 years ago with my 7-year-old. I always knew that something was going on with him, but I was in denial for a long time. And since they put Aspergers on the autism spectrum, it really did sway me from getting him diagnosed. So that's a whole nother video in itself, and I'll be honest with you guys about that. But it's been 1.5 years, and now I'm so educated. I have so much help, and I am willing to take advice from all of you guys out there that have just raised amazing, functioning Aspies that are just doing amazing in the community. So I'd love to hear some of those stories, but stay tuned. We're going to show you some visual charts that we love to learn by. And Aspie, I keep saying I've already diagnosed myself, but my son likes to learn visually. He learns by a visual schedule. He is able to remove it once he does it and tuck it down, and then we put them all in order for the next day. It's a long strip with a little pocket at the end, and it has these visual of school, tablet, dinner, brush your teeth, get dressed, and it has a Velcro thing on the back, and the strip has one long Velcro on the other side, and so they Velcro on there and then they remove. And he's really good about sticking to schedule as long as he can visually see it and remove it himself. It kind of gives him a reward to know that he's getting the stuff done. And we will show you that, and I will also talk to you about first and then. Had I not learned first and then, I'd still be struggling, wanting to pull my hair out with trying to get my son out the door or trying to get him to stay on task. So first and then, remember those 2 words. You are going to be relieved once you figure out first and then. It really did do wonders for my gauge. So thank you for watching my channel, and we'll be back tomorrow with all kinds of other goodies about Asperger's. And everybody stay awesome. Bye.